Where are we? Sunday, the 19th of April. Sunday. Welcome. Thank you. Is it on time? Right on time, as promised. Manic Street Madness. Decon Blue. Bronski Chirp on Choob. I was stuck for a title. Can you guess? I've been listening to some old tunes and we've been embracing in some phonic resonance from a long time ago, 20, 30 years, when I was just a wee grasshopper. And I'd like to say, no, I'm not going to sing. I was going to do it and then end up with, you walk right in, walk right in. Because you've just walked right in. Hello, Kev. You want to say what's
Good
up?
evening. How are we all? Hope you're wonderful. Yeah, you just said Sunday. I thought, that you do it Saturday night. What's he going on about Sunday? Oh, yeah, Sunday.
I know, I have to check and I'm glad I
So
did.
that'll give everybody listening an idea of the level you're going to get from me this evening. I don't know what day it is already. But everybody's having cool and chilled with the lockdown. It's carrying on for at least 3 weeks, which means longer. As it gets. Anyway, there we have it.
Just get this ready. I'm going to put some tunes on to the trills and to the YouTube agents and those that like to meddle. Oh, what's that? Someone's trying.
Oh, meddling already.
What's happening here? I tried to play some music and
It's copyrighted, yeah.
I just tried to play some music and my phone made a call. That's how infected my systems are. Wow, I've got YouTube up on an old handset. It has got a SIM in it. And it's online, it's on Wi-Fi, and I'm just going to play. I pressed the arrow, and my phone made a call. Yes, I've got some resources here. Madness, what's going on, fam? I'll reiterate what I've just said to Kev, and I don't take pleasure in saying this. Not as much pleasure as I do in this beautiful copyright-free music vault that I've found. By chance. I owe it to a special sister who doesn't know she gave it me. Only Kev knows that bit there. Wait there. Is that good? Can you hear it?
Just.
Yeah, what I just said to Kev earlier was, before he was live, Q isn't coming and we're all going to get taken down for the chop. Welcome to the Manic Street Madness that is our lives, our realm, our constitution, law, environment, and I'm aware it's 12:15 a.m. on the Sunday morning. This is our house and it's in the middle of our street. We invite you to come in. The door is open. Sit on this comfy beanbag area, chilled out, and have a chat with us about do you trust the plan? I was just saying to Kevin the .com previously, it's the same environment, if not worse, with the industrialised military complex upon our doorsteps as we speak and cast and are monitored by the various agencies. You know, we've got to look at the realm where we're at, where we're going, and what is going on. So this establishment that has got such things in it as and I've posted and I found a New York Times 1974 CIA exposure of said MK Ultra stroke Montauk stroke Tavistock stroke. Oh, we don't like strokes. What do you want to know? Slash is kill. Stroke is bad. Words of. Sorry for them all and for saying that. I'm not here to scare you, neither is Kev.
Delta.
What's that? Sorry.
Don't forget Delta.
Delta.
MK Delta.
Oh yeah. Add them all, yeah. Scribes, add any more that you're aware of. I just that's all I posted on the other day, and chip in. It's just I thought our line of direction at the moment. If you saw our casts earlier that we pre-recorded for you as part of our watch party showcase for the public fam on Facebook and Choob, we've got the clean hands doctrine to fulfil, much like Julius Caesar. Couldn't find fault with the name, the fiction, the event, Jesus, the man even, maybe. He still wanted to kill him and washed his hands of that. So we reckon that in this time with Q, hello there, anybody, Q, I'm not sure that this is a valid You know, it's much like waiting for tomorrow and tomorrow never coming, and in that time period, other things fall by the wayside. So, you got any comments on that, Kev, or as we feel at the moment, safe, secure, okay, Q, etc. I know you've
Yeah, I
voiced
think
your opinion. Yeah, go on.
paramount at the moment, and with what may come as a result for some people of what's going on at the moment. You know, further down the line when they might be struggling to catch up with all this bollocks. You know how much leeway these corporations like to give you? None. So it is paramount at the moment to get people at least the basics so they can defend. Don't answer the door, basically. That's the best way. Don't speak to them, don't do nothing.
Yeah.
It's the ultimate. Just don't interact with them, regardless. So, but yeah, it is paramount at the moment. Sorry, Dave. I was a little distracted there, mate, for a second.
Ask for your comments. No, that's good. We recognise the
My
fact.
brain's all over the place.
What my brother and your brother is saying there is that we recognise recently, ever more so, whilst we waited for Q, the Palladians, these fictional beings from other places, dimensions, portals, planets, hollow earths. I've been and knocked on all them doors, and guess what? Just like the Barrens, it's all barren, like a landscape of nothingness, tumbleweeds and signs for sale, vacant properties, and skull and crossbones, 322, etc. So we're going to give shit away. We're hauling ass like assets. So, sorry, stateside fam across the pond. Not a play directly at you, but you're hauling ass. We're hauling assets over here on Britain. Brit owns the land, natural man, flesh and blood here today. And the return of Christ like consciousness. Ah, yes, Christians. You take from that what you want. I don't mean to insult you, but we're moving on. There's a time to stand up, step up, and we're giving man a will. The Walking Dead are are everywhere. The video that Space Cowboy's done, 79,000 views in 4 days. Man's going viral. I've had Sweden, Greece, Italy, France and Australia contact me, Space Cowboy, Flatboy, and the fam there, the code words, channel names, people know. Man's made a video about 2012 Olympics, sometime after 1974, but in between now and then, and a little bit in the past. Has anybody seen that? That's an achievement. One man's consciousness, one man's memory, lest we not forget. I yield. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got to. There's a few intriguing bits and pieces out there at the moment. Must find some time. Got other things on my mind, like upstairs.
Oh, doing the room of doom. Yeah. Yes, that's it.
The room of sheer bliss.
Boom boom, as it says in Lawrence, is it, and Thingy in Life, the boom boom room.
The boom boom room, yeah. It's just me sleeping next to them, caressing them.
Oh, the tracks, the vinyls, much like the Rings of Saturn, I find, and they sing, vinyls sing, the Rings of Saturn apparently sing. Like a needle on a record.
Oh, yeah.
And
I've heard that. I've heard the, can I say, alleged recordings of that phenomenon.
I have posted it on my profile, but just today, as I watched a series called The Away, A-W-A-Y, no, letter O, dot, letter A, and brother Ganders there, or Gansders, has advised me to watch the OA and stream it and see from various sites. You don't have to pay, it's out there if you put the title you want and something like Putlocker. Sorry, Putlocker, you're probably going to get hacked and attacked now by the Trills, but you put the title of the series you'd like onto DuckDuckGo, leave a space and put Putlocker and press enter, and you will find there are many other mirroring sites I'm not going to give away, but Putlocker's been around for 20 odd years, I think, since Naps shut down, ex-BMC come along, so technology we love. Kev's into the tracks, the DJ, the pioneers of the DWP language, critical criteria. He's got some pioneers of his own and he wants to caress them, and I think he should have the time. If I lived closer, I'd be coming round as part of the sacred of, and I'd be doing it. So, yeah, because that's the thing. He's got to the punch. Yeah, Kev, let me help you, pal. Oh, you sit there, don't you worry. It'll take me a few hours, and Here's me bed, there's me bag. I like 2 sugars in me brew. Let's crack on, brother. Where's Anne?
Nice.
Yeah. Tell her to put headphones in.
Yeah.
Oh, bless you, brother. Yes, rewards, kickbacks, hobbies, and that's why the title has got music in it. You see, somebody said to us today privately on the .com, I mentioned a couple of weeks ago a track entitled from the early 90s, late 80s, I think 90s, just skimming one-ish, a guy called Gerald, Voodoo Ray, and he mentioned it. What did he recall it as? He was so close.
A man called
Gerald,
Gerald
yeah.
by Voodoo Ray, or
Yeah.
something like that.
And he said that
That made me laugh.
he's been thinking, he's had it on his player for 3 weeks, and he's accused me of MK mind control there, randomly enough. And I said, no, brother, what it is, I will hazard a guess via remote psychoevaluation and generalisation, because that's what psychics do. They generalise the fraudulent ones. The ones with the knowledge can say things like this. Brother, when that song was first heard by your consciousness mind, you was sometime younger. That will have been a less stressful anxiety time. You will have most likely been a lot freer. You'll have had a good old time. I reckon there'll have been some trees chonged, or there'll have been some yards swilled, or you'll have had a chat with Nicky Lauder in a nightclub, and you'd have let loose maybe in a field or a festival. Am I making sense? He went, you know what? And what did he say, Kev? What did he come back with? Dropping names. Like, no, man.
Oh, yeah.
Married, he said he was getting married, and he was Sean Ryder, and there was the guy from The Clash and In the Village, and he says, do you know what, Dave, actually, when I heard that tune, Voodoo Ray, a guy called Gerald, I believe I was getting married, he said, and there was a man from a certain band that happened to play in our reception, wedding, celebration, and me nan was sat with, who was his nan sat with, can you remember, Kev?
Sean Ryder.
What the yes.
Happy Mondays were at the wedding.
Wow. So he goes, that's why when they must have played, the Happy Mondays have introduced man there to Voodoo Ray, a guy called Gerald, and he's at his birthday playing, his nan sat chilling out with who, what the? And so then he's heard me mention it, and his brain's gone shitting, straight from pandemic, lockdown, fear and crisis to, if you don't know a guy called Gerald Voodoo Ray, you can't sing it. It's just very melodic, isn't it? Kev, can you sing it? Take it away. It's like trying to sing Morricante, Yeke Yeke. Yeah. That's another classic at the same time. And it's all foreign, but it's lovely. Spanish, Latino, is it? Arabic, maybe. It could be Arabic, that Yeke Yeke, in fact.
Yeah, I think it is. Something like that.
Tune and
like
a half.
Tribal, maybe.
Many thousands of ravers off their absolute, tits at the time. Loving that, but not knowing a clue what it said. But the vibration and the frequency made it a top chart dance underground, then to go to the top commercial classic. So music is essential, vibrations, memory, and that title there is to get you going, to go and listen to some of them if you're of our, and I think most are of our demographic, whilst we start protecting the procreators, as we've done today by them 4 videos. You've seen us. Thank you for the comments. Humbled, a little bit embarrassed, and thankful, I think, from me. Kev, you?
Yes. No, it was a laughter, and it was strange, because normally, like now, we're doing audio. Even though prior, before, we've done lots of stuff where it's been up on the video. But it was weird to have recorded it like we did, or we had to do it that way. But and then watch it back, I was cringing in places. It was weird because I've not had that before. Watch it at my own, it was just strange. As I say, it doesn't happen if I've done something live on video and I watch it back. Not a problem, but that was weird because it was pre-done. Yeah, I don't know what it was, but I was a bit weird in places for that for some reason. I was laughing to myself about it, but no, we got it done. I mean, say it's the first thing like that we had a go at, so
Where is
Not quite up
everybody?
to the BBC standards yet.
Sorry, but just stop
want to be
everything.
their standards.
I'm being rude. Stop everything. Where is everyone? I know it's 12:15, and everyone's in bed. What for? Work? Just routine, I imagine.
Okay.
Routine and work. I'm just thinking, is it my systems? We've got 33 in the room.
Yeah, 30.
And that's
Or
it.
Chico.
Chico. Yeah, but it's a worldwide platform, is what I'm thinking. All right, then, the Britons are asleep. That means the rest of the world, the realm. What's going on here? Can we check? Let me just check if. Let me just check Choob. I told you.
Staffordshire, look, see, he's out in the wilds.
What's going on here? There's something amiss again.
Chico's in Staffordshire. Very nice too, mate. How you doing? How are you?
Come on.
Did see your comment. Dave wouldn't shut up, so I haven't had a comment. So I'm gonna have a quick go before he cuts me off again. You know what he's like? So I haven't had a comment. So I'm gonna have a quick go before he cuts me off again.
Said it twice.
Thanks for letting me hear myself back.
That's my revenge. Sorry. I have the control.
I'm all right, mate. Thank you. Not bad. Tempting to wind down. Slowly. It'll be a late one tonight, probably. But yeah, it's been all right. Been a busy 2 or 3 days. But it's all been a laugh.
Yeah, you volunteered and sacrificed time to be with me for most of that. Not all, but most. And yeah, we've put a great deal. Thank you, brother. You need your reward in the afterlife in the form of whatever you desire. If I was able to grant that, I'd do anything I needed to do to be able to grant that now. But instead, you have to ride with it. But it's been fun. We've had good feedback. We've done a great thing. Clean hands, it doesn't matter. It's not about that. It's about the beginning of the video where we said we see and feel danger, real and ever present danger. And whilst 99.9% of everybody else is spreading stuff and speculating or whatever, we've got together and had a chat, and then we've cobbled that presentation and outline for you in the name of safety, haven't we, brother? So
yeah, so I'll say it's all good info. Just 33 is just saying top work for the cast earlier. Thanks, appreciate that. As I say, it's first go, so but it's the information more than anything, rather than the 2 prawns trying to get it out there. But that's the information's the important stuff. It's all there, and a little bit of a smile and a laugh with a few of the stories that are bandied about that people have told, and they, had to deal with these entities. So it's all good. Mr. Blair is in the room. What happened to social distancing? I don't know. What are you doing then?
That social distancing with the doomsday clock, I'll tell you what happened to it. It's gone with the doomsday clock. He's saying that nobody is following social distancing, maybe. I don't know. I'm just hazarding a guess, bro.
Maybe everybody knows it's bullshit. I'll be careful what I say. We'll get shut down.
Oh, no, we're all good. So what's he saying? What did he say? Let's see. Hello, Alan. Thank you for joining. 33. Al, it says 7, so all right. We're tired and fragmented, I dare say.
I can't see numbers, actually.
Comes to a few things. Look.
Oh, yeah. I found them, yeah. Down there. What are you doing down there? Nobody up there.
A few things need to be looked at. Yeah, agreed. We've looked at them. Do you need more explaining? Can you be more specific, Al? I'm not, yeah. Thank you, 33, for that comment. Yeah, Kev's done an amazing job. He's a natural presenter. He's got a flair, a style. We have a rapport, and I think it's a credit to you, brother. Again, much love and thanks.
Thanks, Dave.
Anders, you've picked up Anders and Jerry and a few others along the way. We've got more to come, and it will end up with you all getting a will and testament, and if you have already a will, then a codicil, and explanations on, and you choose what you want to do, but we'll offer everything. So that'll be forthcoming by me, mostly on the .com, and then I'll get Kev's got a document. He's had it a while, and I dare say it needs looking at. So that's 100 and something pages. It's three documents, and it's got walkthrough pages, full explanation, citations of law. It's not just, a document with things in it, deeds and instruments. It's everything you need there. It's the whole shebang. So yeah, he's got that at his leisure, and I will walk through you all the possibilities at your disposal before the portcullis door gets knocked upon by Skeletor from Castle Grayskull, the equivalent of modern day.
Yeah, Castle Grayskull.
Man, sovereigns, sovereigns.
I can just hear it. Oh. Bumrah and Grayskull's coming. That's what's happening. No Q. Kev, we've got a limerick. I don't suppose you could remember the one with Q in it, or we'll save it for another day. I don't want to ruin it. But we're into a bit of Alison at the minute, Alison of the Limerick fam, and they're getting their look. If you're a Limerick lover, then welcome, and let us unwrap. Go on. If not, we'll bring it another day. We've got some I don't know, limericks that take a particular shine for our childhoods. Soldiers in the grass with up his and diarrhea, funny pain, walking down the lane. There was. Oh no, these were just songs actually. They're not limericks, are they? Limericks where you change the word. Even I'm off it, look, Kev, so don't feel bad. The one with sizes, devices, and that one was good. You let out earlier, just the right soupçon of everything. Can you say that one? Is that one that I can remember that?
Oh,
one?
that the one we put in the publication.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was. There was a young man from Devices who actually, here's the proper version.
Oh,
there
no.
was a young man from Devices whose bollocks were two different sizes. The left one was small and no good at all, and the right one was big and won prizes.
Yes, That's it. That's what we're after, fam. Humour, music, protection. There's no scaremongering, no fear, no speculation. We know what we've got. We know what we need to do. If you'd like to come and do that with us, then welcome, and enjoy the next month, I suppose. We're going to get you protected on the .com straight away, because that's the environment we can do that in, because it's private and that's what we built it for. And we are trust pioneers in some way. We're not leaders and masters. Pioneer DJs, pioneers on the field.
Oh, you can't leave it alone.
Yeah, we're pioneering the trust, all right, and in many areas. So we're going to do that via the .com. But yes, we're going to have some fun with it. One.
Jerry, sorry, just have a quick shout in the room.
Do it.
I haven't forgotten people.
Yeah,
it's a quick one. It's not a limerick though, Dave. But it says she was only the fishmonger's daughter, but she lay on the slab and said, "Fill it."
Go on.
That's it.
Say it again, please.
She was only the fishmonger's daughter, but she lay on the slab and said, "Fill it."
I just had to make sure. I know a young lady from Ealing who had a peculiar feeling. She lay on her back and opened the crack and all over the ceiling. That was told to me when I was 11 by my.
Yeah, I was going to say that was a schoolyard one, wasn't it?
That wasn't so much a limerick again. That's just but they're just as good as long as they're not too gratuitous and get the channel shut down. Print them, type them, and we'll leave them in. They'll stay. All in the name of humour. We are medians. We are because there's Dave and Kev and David, the two, and we are medians. So a comedian is just that, I suppose. You can do it solo.
Nice.
But no, the word itself, is joint, isn't it? Cooperation. And
yes.
So median. So then you've got the meet or co-med. Co-medi, Anne, or I don't know, I need to see it, but you get the point, you catch the drift, right?
I do. Sorry, just looking at the state of my pussy.
Is it alright, Ken?
Yeah.
Alright.
Hair's coming out of it though, it's probably my age.
Bless. You had a medication?
Tom? Yeah. Right, Dom. How are you?
Simon. Top of the morning to you, Simon. It's actually morning, and it's the top, so I can say it without being racialist, because we is Irish.
Racialist.
Yeah, because we is Irish. I'm a mentalist, not a racialist. Never forget that. Top of the morning
I
to you.
still got to tell Jerry that joke, but that I can't say live on air.
Oh yeah. Don't worry, we'll get there in good time, brother. In good time. Oh bless. My mind's asleep.
I'm not going to forget that either. Actually, I'll get it written down in case when our paths cross, I go, oh yeah, right. Remember this scenario? This is what I was going to say.
33, bless you. That's a nice thing to say. I don't know why you've said that in what particular part, but I may play it back and have a listen to the insanity there to compare me to Loki. Kev has a pet there called Loki, I believe. Is that not the cat?
Yeah.
No?
Yes.
Yeah.
Siamese, yeah, Loki.
And he's just mentioned...
Not spelled the same, but...
So, as you're talking about hairs coming out of your pussy, which is low-key for everybody concerned, mums and dads, all right, hold fire. You see a cat there, it's called Loki, and then 33 has put about Loki, he thought was a lyricist, but then, or vocalist, and then I was on fire, so I'm a bit confused, I'm tired. It's all by accident, I assure you. We'll try not to let it happen again, but thank you. We're doing all right these days, Kev. We're doing all right, brother.
Yes, mate. It's all good.
Call me mate. Ship.
Oh, look at you!
You ship.
It's just Chad language. You have to put up with it. It's
Yeah,
what I'm used to saying. I'm not thinking about it. We're relaxed here.
Yeah, we are, brother. That's it, sorry.
That's why I call occasionally I might call you Mister by mistake.
Yeah, I'm not being pedantic. Anne-Marie
No,
warns
I know
me.
you're not.
I get this from Anne-Marie as well. David. Oh, yes. Which brings me on to a private thing, which is small and quick to say, but I mentioned to Kev, which I'll bring to you lot, I didn't always have the good David inside my head that says things like, why isn't that person telling you that? Oh, that's because, when you have a thought, we'll start with the beginning. You have a thought and a voice inside your head, the one that you always hear, that you know of, that isn't a surprise, that we all have, I think, and says things to you in a negative way about that person, and you immediately start getting on the defensive and hostile and thinking that they don't want, play fair and they're not got your best interest at heart. And then, of late, some years, the other voice has popped up, which is I've had a chat with. It's chatted to me and said, whoa, there's a reason why that person isn't so much, doing that. You used to DJ music and you're familiar with, so perhaps they're not giving you their musical input or their recommendations because they don't want to feel belittled by you. Because, let's face it, Dave, your character and whatnot and etc. So I'm like, but where's that voice been? I asked that voice, listen, I'm nearly at the end. It's a dangerous loop. If a loop, Kev, get me out, mate, all right? I'm going in. I had a chat with that voice, the me bit, not the evil bit that I hear that's being derogatory and negative, but there's three things going on here, believe it or not, and my inner consciousness, the middle bit, said, hey up, where have you been all my life? If you'd have been here some years earlier, I wouldn't have got into as much pain and trouble and strife. I really would have appreciated you. And the voice said, well, you wouldn't be who you are today, and you wouldn't have learned, so I had to let you do that, and I come along when you're ready. And I said some other things to it, and I said, I said, but why have you got an answer for everything? And it said, I am you, you idiot. I'm a piece of you. This will not go very far. You will not win an argument with yourself. You know this. And I said, but we could be here a long time because I'm quite stubborn and I've got some things to say. And that's when I started looping. I'm getting out. Oof, that was close. Mental health. It's really, when we say, oh, no, I'm fine. I don't have mental. Really? You don't have anybody out there?
It's fragile.
Yeah, and we respect that, don't we, brother?
I think everybody's got a little bit of it all. Like Graham says, everybody's on the autism spectrum to just the lesser or greater degrees.
Yeah, when we've got...
Which I quite like that, actually. It's quite no disrespect, of course. I mean,
No,
especially,
you're
but
right. You are right. We are being indoctrinated into a system which is foreign and non-natural, and we don't know who we are. So, like autism, they don't have control, and I believe I'm on the spectrum. So, anybody with it that might want to complain, hello, all right, Timmy. So, the
Come
point,
on.
the point is, and that's not us. That's South Park, and we're just pointing out the cruelness of, you know. Why don't you put your hand in my pocket and feel for the tip, Uncle Herbert? You know what we allow. So it's amazing the mental health aspect that we have through the indoctrination. Back into the point is something we all have now mental health issues with, because when you don't know who you are and what you speak, hello, I'll leave it there.
Oh, here we go.
That's all right. Just a bit of because of the topic and where we are, the morning, the time. We're both tired, brother. It's been a long week. You've done. You've got to be on your 20th hour of video this week with me, surely.
We've had a go this week, but then you've done all the other stuff in between. So fair play to you, mate, because you've been messing about with software for
Yeah.
days on end that turned out to be pointless, unfortunately. And you know that's the way. That's why I don't do shit like that, because stuff gets broken when stuff like that happens.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm just. That's what it would do to me. So I don't get. It's best I don't get involved in anything like that. I've got enough broken laptops sitting next to me.
Yes, that's it. We
That's
learn.
true.
I can't afford that. No, and there's Yanko,
No.
the Queen, and that. Yeah, it scared the crap out of them. A violent dad and king part. You know.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I haven't got those concerns around me.
Your animals.
But,
Yeah, your animals.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Yeah.
yeah, they pick up on it, but
Anyway.
that was quite a while ago now. But even so, not somewhere I care to go again. I can't afford it now. Can't replace this laptop. It costs me too much money as it is. And I know I've just bought another one for upstairs, but that's much smaller.
Yeah, so
Although I've got a feeling I need to buy a monitor for it now.
whatever you need to get. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I will for upstairs. If you want to see all the record box, basically.
Yeah.
So, they're cheap as chips anyway, monitors. For Christ's sake, HDMI monitor.
Yeah.
Nothing. So, anyway, that's that.
I'm just going to look in room, see what's going on there. I've got tiny eyes myself, Kev. You know, I have to look on the laptop. We've got links in the room. Simon, you're a legend.
Yeah,
Anybody that happens to have a chat with Simon there in the room, if you get to meet or chat with him, you're a lucky soul. I consider myself lucky and blessed to have spoken to this man, for him to have found us and for him to have talked to me and taken the time out. I met him. I've gone and shook hands and we've fist bumped and we've even hugged. We shared a homemade cigarette, I believe, if I'm recalling it right, and we had a chat. It was a true delight. This man's got a consciousness and an intelligence that I've never met. So I just want to say, Simon, you know, I bigged you up there. I can't believe you, and I'm thankful for mans like you coming along. You know, I'd be lost without them. He's got a lot of. How do I put it? Just knowledge and lore and, you know, arguments. He told me stuff that I've forgotten about and brought stuff back into line, and he's very spiritual. He's got the church stuff and his island, and he's got knowledge of UK, England, constitution, bankings. You know, I'm not trying to give too much away. It's all just, well, kudos to him. You know, I don't say that lightly. And man schools me sometimes, educates me as I do you. So, yeah, we're blessed for that. I yield. What else we got?
Nice in the room. It's quiet. Let's see. Oh, 11 now watching. Still is. But did come on late.
Hello, Dom. I've seen Dom in there. Just
Yeah.
I think I missed him.
Yeah, give him a nod a minute ago.
We've got a limerick from Alan. Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
You can read it if you want. Yeah, you're the limerick master.
Hang on, I've got to scroll backwards if I can.
It's about middle of the chat if it doesn't jump and that. About roughly the middle somewhere, bro.
Oh, Dom's dropped one in there as well.
Oh, stop it, Roth. Thank you all. This is what we need. This is beautiful. On the replay, they're going to be loving this. All around the realm, these work. It's not just a Britain thing. This is a family thing. I can't wait for... I'm going to check the comments
Right.
to see.
Is Mr. Blair's
Yeah.
one? Oh, shit. What did I do there, dickhead? Sorry. Fat fingers.
It's all right. We'll take a minute. This is live and direct, brother. This is what happens. Animals and live. David.
There was once a mouse called Keith who circumcised the boys with his teeth. It was not for leisure or sexual pleasure, but to get to the cheese underneath.
Thank you. This is it. No holds barred. Oh wow! And Dom's done one as well, has he?
Yeah, I'm just getting to that. Yeah.
Oh, I've got such a... All right, that's good.
Right. I was just getting the flow, Dom.
He's kicking the flow. He's kicking the flow.
Was a young man from Darjeeling who got on the bus to South Ealing with a sign on the door saying "Don't spit on the floor." So he looked up and spat on the ceiling.
Yes, sovereign.
Nice.
Nice, yeah. Classic. Nice. This is Limerick Club. We're going to do a special
Limerick Club.
Nice.
First rule of Limerick Club: don't talk about Limerick Club.
Yes, This is the deluxe edition, the extended cut. The director's
Excellent.
keep them flowing. Now look in the room.
Simon and Jerry having a little party.
Oh, good. Turn up the bass.
Oh, I can't. Here we go. Now I can't go backwards. Oh, yeah. Piece of shit.
I'm not turning up the bass. I'm trying to turn it up and down. Volume's gone. You alright, Kev?
Yeah, he just messes me about always for some reason. Going back, trying to go back to the room.
Yeah.
Weird.
Always secure your back doors before you open your front door. I did I did so much like writing that.
I mean, it had to behave when we did the broadcast. It had to really...
And I loved you reading it out even more. Gee, money couldn't buy that. Couldn't buy it.
Don't get your back door smashed in.
It's all about safety. Castle safety. Yes, indeed.
Maybe certain other portals were covered as well.
What's that, chastity?
Yeah. That's what your belt the truth is.
Ephesians is coming back into play. Oh yes.
Your breastplate and your dodgy belt.
Oh yes. Cold.
And your sword made out of words.
What kind of world is this?
I can't. We had DMT.
Tripping again like Lord Denham. Stop it.
Yeah.
I'm having a tea party.
Yeah. Fancy doing some denning.
With some Darjeeling on the ceiling. What? Oh, I've got a peculiar
Dear
feeling.
me. Right, let's see if I can go. Oh, you. Come on. We're going to smash it. That is really weird. Aha! Got you moving a bit now. Right, that's back at the top of the room when we first started.
Thank you for the links. There's a lot of links there. I will check them later. All right. Thank you for them. Wow. Okay, I'm going to carry on scrolling.
Yeah, I've just been through. It's not, was there 7? About 5 in the room, isn't there?
So 13,
Talking,
13.
discussing, making comment.
Yeah. says 13 here, but I'm slow. It could be 11.
Yeah,
11.
I got 11 here.
And then 11 there, yeah. What's that? Simon, I can't answer you because I honestly haven't had time in between video chats and washing and eating to actually digest what you've sent me. So thank you, and I will look at them on my phone and what you've given me first in the chat app, and then I'll look on the screen here afterwards. So over this weekend, we'll link up next week, and I will let you know, brother. Thank you.
Yeah, are we in the studio this week, Dave, recording?
Well, I will be, yeah. I'm getting quite excited about going forward. This is all boring, sorry, but for me, because I know where we're going and we're in the driving seat here, and you're, well, yeah, we are driving something forward. We're pushing forward, if not driving. I'm waiting to see the will and testament of man come alive, the walking dead, and the blood flowing and all that. So I'd like to, yeah, press on with the key critical areas of safety. We've done doors with peddlers, we've done phone calls with peddlers, then we've done door with agent, and we've done phone call with agent, and then you've got the letters and the 3-letter and the, well, conditional accept the more than 3. To be fair, if you only ever send 3, God, you'll be lucky. Okay, so you can throw that out the window. The 3-letter conditional process is very good and it stand to it, but then often more paperwork will be needed when the judiciary and fines, fees, levies and the dishonour and etc. set in. So you know, I'd like to consider the key areas now would be, we have notices, we've established with the areas of claims, legal, lawful, rebuttal. We've not done everything, but we've done a fair bit, and we've got proofs and claims and everything's there. So I think we are ready to meet everybody in the middle and talk about serious things like pioneering things of where we are, what time we are, and I'm excited about that later. So what topics do you think we should cover before we go to like a last will and testament, codicil, all of that? Is there any areas between front door and grave that we need to have a look at, fam? Over to you.
Front door and grave.
Yeah, cradle to grave. Basically, I'm thinking that film Cradle to Grave, but I changed it on the fly. What do we need to protect? All right, you tell us.
You need to be protecting yourself in case you get whisked off medically or otherwise. So have somebody in place with power of attorney to appoint, or right, several people,
yeah,
because there's lots of weirdness goes on these days, and easy to get yourself sectioned. So protect yourself like that. That's easily done. Somebody or people you trust, 2 or 3 of them, line them up. You know, if it goes to this person first, if they're indisposed or can't, then it goes to that person. To make sure that you know, they're in control of anything that is possibly being done to you. Just another things you never know. Plenty of things to look at, really.
Yeah, that's power of attorney is a good one, because at any point, when I say front door to grave, front door to prison, front door to cell, front door to hospital, front door to, yeah, let's re-sketch that. Grave's too far. That's the last one, yeah. In between you being here and passing away, there may be many encounters that you need to protect from. And Kev, you've hit a good point there, that the power of attorney, the different types of power of attorney, then you've got general, full and lasting. These are to do with not like authorised, when we authorise somebody to speak on our behalf. These would take control of your fam, your possessions. Like if you was going in the olden days to battle, the knights would appoint the squire to look after the sheep while they were out, and when they come back they knew that it would all be there and not sold by the crackhead to the pawn shop and etc. So that's the honourability we're looking for, is if you go into battle, leave your fam and all your possessions, say all right then, Steve, John, Ian, whatever, agreement, trust is set up, and then that's what you're going to set up, aren't you? So it's not something to do on a wing and a prayer.
No.
Yeah, you need to know and be sure, and then trust those. And then if you do, then why wouldn't you do it? Why would you not? Because our rule of thumb, as we've put out, is prevention is better than cure. So,
well, it's what I say. It's all right. You're protecting your assets and all the rest of it, but remember, you need protection too. Because, well, look, for instance, you know, at the moment, you can be sectioned on the say-so of one doctor, right? So what if that was to happen? Just even out of spite, should we say, because I don't like what you're crowing about or something like that. It's so easy for them under this.
Talking about 5G. 5G, right. Come here, you. Yep, that's
Exactly.
it. Ooh.
You've got to be careful. So protect yourself. If you, it's all right protecting everything else, but if you get taken away, you're not protecting nothing. So it must make sure it passes to somebody, and you might have to set up a few people that you can really trust, because you never know who might end up not being there with you. Just cover your ass.
So if anyone's confused there, why wouldn't you just you will do that? No, because you will. It's not open to everybody's viewing. It's a private trust, and once it's done, it shouldn't really be changed unless you divorce and certain things that happen, and then you would amend that and change beneficiaries and etc. accordingly. So you wouldn't put your power of there is power of attorney aspects, executives and so forth, executor of the will and whatnot. That is a certain amount of responsibility and power there, but that's not the same as just bear with us. You go out, you slip on the ice. You bang your head and you momentarily lose your consciousness. Your memory is gone when you awake, from your coma, and it takes you 6 months, 2 years, 10 years to get your memory back. Then who's going to help you in that time? You're not dead, so your will doesn't come into effect, but your conscious will is dead. Man is alive, but the will of man is dead. Wow, never saw that coming. So therefore, who's going to manage your will until your will comes back? But not your last will and testament, the living will. Your last will is the document that expresses your very last will, because you are no longer with us. We need to recall what your last will is, what you expressed when you was alive as your last will, knowing that it be your last will. I yield. So that's why you need POA and things like that, aside from the will.
Protect. Got to protect so they can not necessarily bad. So it may happen. They've said you might be unconscious, in a coma for God knows how long. So you need somebody that's going to step in and take over your business to a degree, you have to give them power of everything, but certainly they could be, they would have to be consulted on anything that's happening to you, and
the vested,
blah, blah, blah.
The vested interest is certain keywords there. You have a vested interest in it all, don't you? So that would help, when you're doing that and thinking of that. So what else protection have we got then? So that's a good one. We've covered that. And then the language is a protection. When somebody says, hello, what's your name? What? Oh, my name's John. Oh, dear, you failed. It's not your name at all, is it? Because we've taught you how we view names and callings and etc. titles and dangers of that. So if you don't know how to speak and respond, then you're going to fail. So when you're trying to defend your last will from attack of the He-Man and Bumrah from the Castle of Grayskull, of the who, it shouldn't be what anymore, it should be who, who. Abbreviate that to 3 words. So when they and
World Health Organisation
and the others come and swoop, and then you see, so we need to know the language. So when they say, oh, do you consent and sign and agree and whatnot? Well, conditionally I do, yes. What do you mean conditionally? It's a yes or no, Paxman style. Well, in law, under God, I believe we have a choice. We won I say this loosely, don't hold me to it. We won the Second World War, and we beat a dictator, so we don't have to speak German and be ruled under X, Y and Z of the militia of the Nazi Reich. So I have a choice. We're ruled by consent. So let me consent and say conditional consent. You don't know this language. You're going to, Kev, help us out here. I'm going, on one, but that's the key we've found, isn't it, there?
Language is very important. And becoming more so, actually. Lots of avenues opening up there, but the language, say that how we use it, how we write it, what we stay away from. And
the aggression, the vexation, the anger, it must be not, it can't be present in writing.
You can't work like that. You have to be complete as much as you want to. So, as I said to you before, Graham and I used to sit there and we'd do the Chav version, which is the version we want to write.
Yeah.
And then we do the professional version. Or we go through the chat version and take all the swearing out, basically.
Yeah, it's hard.
You know, but you can't, you know, as we've said a lot of times, but very recently, that initial, when you first learn of the actual scale and scope of what's actually going on, it is an angry reaction, but you learn very quickly that you can't deal with anybody getting all, I know this is all bollocks, you bastards, and that gets you nowhere quick. So you have to literally, well, for me, it was realising actually what a total joke it is, and playing it like a game, and it's a laugh. I'm knowing what they're going to say to me, so I turned it was always then I turned it into having a bit of a laugh with them, even though still professionally, but I was just sort of really embarrassing them with what I was saying. So, and that's the even better way. And then when you start phoning up and you've been on the phone for an hour waiting, and you get there and they instantly cut you off because you're flagged up and nobody wants to take that call. No, I'm not speaking to him.
That will make
you
you
attain
angry.
those levels of
So you're telling me,
annoyance.
you're telling me, man's been there listening to. Sorry,
I have to sing to it. I've got recordings here.
For an
because
hour.
everything's recorded.
For an hour, and then to be hung up. That music is mental abuse, if you ask me. For an hour,
is.
that's not funny because I've been
I
there.
made up the own words
Listen,
to it, Dave.
I've been there, and do you know why I felt angry? Because I've had to listen to that loop, not because I've been hung up. I'll be honest. I went, I can't take that music anymore. That's what my words were. I went, listen, brother, I want to help
Green
you.
sleeves, isn't it?
Go on, tell me the words you made up.
I can't remember now, but I tell you what is a fact. I've got all the audio files with me singing on them.
Oh, brilliant.
While I'm sitting there waiting, I used to make up all sorts of, and then I would make, the bit where it comes and it goes, our opening hours are and we're experiencing a heavy traffic at the moment. You may want to call back. And I used to repeat that and say, it's all on the recordings. There's loads of it. But I see I haven't had to deal with them for a long time. We're not in contact. We don't write as often as we used to each other.
just
DWP.
Who sung Standing in Line Tonight to See the Show with every light's on, every glow. You just
No, it was more abusive.
That would but that kind of music would be nice. Even what I'm playing is less abusive than.
There was even an article about that music, about how bad it was, and that it would be suggested they change it. There is some new music actually, because when I had to phone up recently and demand they don't Welsh on the court and pay me my money. Yeah, they did have some new music on there, but I get shifted around all over the place. I get shifted through about 7 different bloody switchboards, mate. They see me coming a mile off.
I just had a thought. What I said. Hello, danger. Cogs turning. When I mentioned the plans and the games and what they do, Tavistock, MK and whatnot, just think about what I've said at the beginning and what we know of, and then think about what I've just said now about that and what we're discussing, you as well, your comments. We feel resentful to pick up the phone again and ring them back because we can't take the music. And we're saying that the music has been talked about to be changed. So after 5 years of mental abuse and anguish by ones that are less able and vulnerable anyway, that need to be helped in a greater way than most average, able man, they put on abusive music that repeats in a loop, and we know how dangerous loops are. We've covered that already. So there you go, your mental loop. Wow, this is all just by patchwork magic, I assure you. This is not a planned conversation, but that music then by proxy gives you mental abuse. You've got hung up on after half an hour's 15 minutes when you're using your own credits on a mobile is too long. There's that aspect of anger when you get hung up on. I'm hearing that already before others. So then you're on your landline and you're getting it for free, but for a moderate fee. It's not free, and you then resent ringing them up because of the mental abuse, and you tell me there's not mental psyop games out there to.
Of course, that's what they're doing. It's exactly what it's all based to do. Oh, I can't sit on the phone again. And they're just. This is exactly. Most people, a lot of people, give up, and that's exactly what it's meant to do. There's a percentage of people just go, I can't deal with them people. Fuck it, I'd rather starve to death. That's the truth.
I'll ring up early in the morning, but every morning you sleep in because you're depressed and you're less able, well off, and etc. And you think, I'll get them in the morning. You sleep through your alarms. You're like, oh wow. You ring them at tea time. It's always busy. Yeah, and they don't all hang up. No, but there are times I can confirm that different things, not just the department for that name that you gave, but banky people.
Yes. No, they all play it. This lot are just. Oh, they're horrible. Really horrible. And so they know nobody wants to deal with me or Graham when we're phoning them because they know what's coming. We just. Well, not the time. It's not on purpose. We just humiliate people. And it's not. We're not going out of our way to do that. It's just because of what we know. You just make them look like idiots, and nobody wants to deal with us because, as I say, and not just that, the more times you kick their ass, the less they want to do with you, which is quite funny.
I just want to stop everything. The chat room is alive. We've got quality, not quantity tonight. I am not here at this time. Let me just reiterate for those on, replay. It is 1:10 a.m. on Sunday morning. There's no chance and there's no validity of much of what I say. I tell you now, and I'm not going to give any further, detailed, intricate workings of wills and positions and titles and properties. We'll do that. Have patience, and it will come. I promise. So moving on, Simon's put some interesting little comments in there. You little beauty. I wasn't wrong about him. Eyes on the prize there. Please, what he says and does, interesting. He gets my brain into that state which it doesn't rarely get into, which we get into now in private chats, but it's rare. So just hold that. And then we've got a question from somebody called a scribe, Mars Mindle. Let me take this a minute. What do you think about the proposed immunity? What do you say there? Rumours going around. That's exactly. Why do you think we're doing what we're doing, Mars? What do we think about it? I'll answer first, if I may. We think there's a real and ever present danger. Let's just forget about this pandemic. That's why we're rewinding everything. Even though we're going forward at an alarming quantum, rate, like being a particle in the Hadron CERN system. I'm sorry, but that's how I feel. So we're just going to slow and go back. And what I think about that is there's a lot of things going around, including we're going to sit and wait for Q and trust the plan, man. No, psyops are plenty. Speculation, rumours, the stories of news, fake news, sub-underground networks, webs and things and forums. I really think that we need to just look at where we are, who we are, and what we can do, who's in now, and what we can do with them now. Because time is short. And speculation and rumours are rife. I've got some Jamaican reggae.
We're protected anyway.
I've got some Jamaican reggae artists that will tell you about rumours fly like flies. Yes, bad man something, telling bare lies. All I've listened to for 10 years. You've heard it too, Kev, I know, with your circles. These truth speakers in the Jamaican Afro-Caribbean reggae style. I've listened to it for 30 years at least, these messages. And now it appears they could be the prophecy is being fulfilled, which these guys have said that we didn't listen to, except chonging and not really taking in the words, like me with New Order Blue Monday. Go check the lyrics for Blue Monday out and then come back and have a chat with me and say, I didn't see that, Dave. No, I didn't either, and I've DJ'd the shit. So what we think, back to the point, thank you for that question. That's probably the top question comment of the video so far. Kev, what do you think? And
well, I personally, I know we're protected, so ultimately, you don't have to have it. even if they call it mandatory. We're protected under international law, human rights, Nuremberg Code, Geneva Convention, all things that can't be removed. You're protected from a quack and his Hippocratic oath, and there's plenty of info out there, questions you can ask, but don't refuse, politely decline, never refuse, because they can decide you're being belligerent, so you just politely decline. Personally, I won't be having it. If it gets to that, we don't even know if it's going to get to that at the moment. It seems like quite a few other places. Who knows? Who knows? But I certainly don't think it's anything that we should all be flapping about, because the whole thing's on numbers alone is nonsense. I'm afraid it's nowhere even near flu, so it's a total joke. But mandatory, no chance. No chance.
We've got a mandate for that mandatory action. Bosh.
Yeah.
Bosh. Yeah, we have. And that's when...
we'll use the rules. That's all we do.
You'll see the...
You're under that. These are the rules. This is wartime shit. If you want to play that game, so none of it's overruled.
Yeah.
It can't be. Bang.
So don't be fearful. Do not panic.
Fear.
The Asian continents have allegedly introduced, I don't know if it was them that introduced it or they're the first ones to be told to be setting it off, because it's a trial ground. America's Asia, Pacifics and so forth, colonisation by the British Empire, lest we not forget, all right? So Captain Cook and Captain, who else was it now? Then there's two famous captains there, not just E-Bird. I forget now the other one, but I'm thinking of the 40s and the ice caps and such things over the wall, Operation Fishbowl and whatnot. That they've it's scary. It seems that we've got these colonisations, China being used as a testing ground. I'll argue that Singapore, the busiest harbour in the world, is owned and run by the UK, London. Don't be thinking it's just London. They're all over the shank, and the empires may have crumbled and independence may have been given. So we go back to Asia and the apps that they allegedly, you see where I'm going here, Tavistock and Montauk and etc. Remember, lest we not forget. They've got an app and it tells them where they've been, and they get a red or a green light. Okay, pin that, rewind to last year. Who was kicking off about the human rights and everything? Asia. Who was not being on the news about what was happening? Asia and China. What happened in Asia and China? They were going ape shit about all sorts, and all of a sudden now, I'm a bit not just, going with the flow, and I'm not claiming anything. I'm a wise man, and I'm told to speak a message. So lest we not forget, things have been drowned and forgotten about. Brexit, where's that gone? Oh, yeah, the doomsday clock, social distancing. So these poor our family friends, but I call them poor little duckers here, because they've been susceptible to this plan, regime, agenda, objective, and they're going to try and get these phones and datas and wireless things, and I've heard and I've seen, and we're ready for the layout, and you choose now. I'm afraid we cannot tell you what to do, but you need to choose who you are, when you are, what you are. I keep saying the same things, don't I? It's amazing. There's a message in it, and I hope you're going to see it, fam, because there's a time to choose your loyalty, place, time, self, words, actions, and if they do, then we have things that we could help with. That's all I'll say. Not giving 100% here, but all failing that, David, if they don't listen, and there's not much you can do. There is not much you can do. Assange and Manning and who's the other guy now? There's another Snowden. Yeah, you see what I mean? And we've just stood by. We've stood by and watched the ones that stood there, and I'm part of it, so I cannot blame you. I am the blame,
China.
So, with all that said, yeah, really, there was so much a document can do in a court. Yes, when a secret club comes, there's not much you can do, fam. So, Q was the ones that were going to save us. Well, it comes back to us then as well in some respects. We can go international covenants, political human rights. We can go God, KJV, red letter, everything. Not a problem. But if we can't enforce it, and there's no one there to help us, and we've got no institutions or backup or resources, or solidarity would be a key. All right, working from the same page. Who's connected? Some on the .com, 400 and something after 3 years. Yeah, we've tried. The voices, the omegas and the alphas have stood up, much like 1940s Germany, when they come for the lower class, then they come for the middle class, then, which don't exist anymore. There's only lower class and high class now. They've managed to wipe that out. And then the elites were, left to... I'm sorry, I'm yielding. I've said too much, and I only do it out of love, and I'm part of it, all right?
I see Alan put in there, I think it was when you were saying about what does anybody want to hear about or topics want to cover, and he's put in courtroom procedure. Well, that CPR, mate. That's what you need to look at, mate.
It's out there, it's online, it's a
CPR, it's all online,
Yeah.
it's in the resources. That's what you need. That's where it is.
What's he saying? Let's have a look, though. We can have a little play.
It's just a little way back from the most recent.
Q is a question.
Can't go back again now.
Who needs to
Typical.
answer if you... What? Who says Q's a question? With all due respect, fam, what the duck are we going on about here? Q is Josh X could come here for an hour and tell you about Q. Then I'll get Brother Santos here and tell you about Q's and things. Then we'll get Jordan Maxwell here. And so where do we end? All right, Q may be a great many things, but it's not, TikTok, Alan. That's all, with love and respect. TikTok, brother. I'm not having a go. I'm just saying this is just, there's enough's enough. We can be kind and we can gloss around the edges and we can put you in cotton wool. But when the fire starts going, you're gonna get burned. I'm sorry. So would you like some swimming pool water, exit plan, shield, defence, and etc.? We would too, and that's what we're offering you in any and all available forms that we currently know of. If others would like to join and let us know, then yeah, Q is not joining us. Q hasn't emailed anybody. Q hasn't done Patriots and whatnot. Under what? I don't even. Yeah, I've woken up. I don't know. I'm smelling coffee and I'm seeing blood, potentially, as we have in history. And anybody that wants to claim on me and say I'm talking codswallop, well, we've said in these 600 videos a lot. The BCCI scandals and the names that we've dropped are paramount to the claims that we make. So I'm not here to repeat everything, but I can stand there in a court and justify all of these outlays and claims. Kev can, and you lot need to, and that's not learn everything we know. We're going to strip it back, which is what we've done today. Blessings to Kev again for the times, and when you want to get off and fade and let me know, and we'll wrap up, brother. But we're doing the best we can. We've gone back to the beginning, and we're going to arm you, and there's only so much we can do. But you know what? I'll wrap up with this. If we all got connected on a street basis, like I said, with a street trustee and then a city, a town, a borough, a county, and we just put our differences to one side and we recognise the fear and the hatred and the uncertainty, and these bumbling idiots that are handling a pandemic that may have greater numbers than Italy, you see, I can't yield. They're going to have greater numbers than Asia. The man come out at the beginning of the pandemic and said, point blank, we're all going to get it, 80%. What the duck is that? What do you mean 80%? Well, that doesn't seem very good. You're telling me it's in a contained area and we're getting herd immunity. That was a distraction of whatever. And I took the daughter out of school earlier than expected because I don't trust them and they made mistakes and it's all going to come out in the wash, isn't it? So how the hell this landmass, tiny little England compared to Lombardy, Italy, Milano, Sicily, don't talk to me about my homeland and how many people there are there that allegedly died, and we're going to have more than that. It's scary. It really is a freaking scary pile of nightmare. I'm sorry for all of this, and I'll yield on that. I've said enough for you to back up and go check on. And I said to Kev the other night, didn't I, brother? That Channel 4 news that I saw at 7 p.m. with Krishnu Guru Murphy and a bloke that used to be in government who was called Jeremy Hunt. Okay, I'll name you, Mr. Jeremy, calling family hunt. Man is guilty of certain things. Krishnan said. So you're here slagging off the government against certain things. You can't speak on behalf of the government. You were previously in this position and you left with 5,000 ventilators and stripping assets of the NHS. And, what have you got to say about that? Jeremy replied to Krishnan on the Channel 4 7 p.m. news t'other day. Well, it may be that I need to be looked at and investigated and whatnot, and that is that. He's done his job. He did what he was told. He can't get out of it. He's on Channel 4 News. Fine. Krishnan, legend. Absolutely. I'm not saying Channel 4 is innocent. No, they're not. They wouldn't have a show put to them by us and go independent.
They're all moody.
Yeah, but that was fantastic, because then they come back to, well, why is the failings here and why haven't the frontline staff? And Krishnu laid into the present armadery of what Cobra and Sage. Oh my days, let's just I'm yielding. I've give you enough. I'm sick to my back teeth, and that's just off top of a man's head that's tired. I've not got a script, and I'm speaking from my heart. That's why we operate, because even the newsreader could not Adam and Eve what was going on, and there was no action, no answers. And why is Jeremy Hunt there answering for the present government? Yeah, what the? Do you know what I mean? Oh, help.
No, weirdness. It's all weirdness.
I'm going to read the room, Kevin. Calm down a bit, because
Yeah.
I love you
Chill,
lot.
Dave.
I love you lot,
Chill,
and
Dave.
I'm angry a
In
bit.
through the nose, Dave, out through the mouth. Be calm, my brethren.
Comes to something when an ex-DJ of 40-something years, half asleep, used to drink raki and abuse himself on all kinds of stuff, speaks more sense and what's going on. And you do, not just me, you, the room, the scribes. That's why I'm angry, because we're apparently the have-nots. And you put a few of us, and we go Clarkson style, into the government, we'd have it done in a week, you know what I mean? A week. And so there's no excuse. There is no excuse, and you've hit a nerve here. I'm going to calm, and I just want to say it's a passion, and it's an allowed passion, because it's a protective passion. I'm not out of control. I'm not swearing. I'm not raising my voice, but you hear the sincerity and the tone.
We're beyond language.
Yeah,
Bad language. And
I'm
that
sorry.
is.
Yeah. Too wrong.
Will you excuse me, people? Just going to mute the mic, because I'm going to go and get some ice from the icarium. It's going to make noise. So I'm just going to mute for a couple of seconds. Back in a second.
It went all right, Kev. You're excused, brother. Thank you, Jerry. It was not intentional to rant with the tune. I'm just expressing feelings, emotions, knowledge, consciousness, mixed upness, and sensing your fear, which makes me angry. If you're honest, the psycho evaluators in the house, I'd like to protect the world if I could. Tesla style, not God style, not Jesus style, with tech, with knowledge. Others that have spoken out, great minds, even the lyrical artists that we've put in the title there, they've all had expressive messages. I didn't get in there, the ones that, if you tolerate this, then your children will be next. Those of you that listen, it's like being in a car crash, but it's like getting in a car knowing you're going to crash, basically. Who would do that? Nobody, but we've all got in it. And we can see the impending doom that possibly might be on the horizon via assumed, presumed, forced, mandated, mandatory. We're going to break down that word if you want, but yeah, we'll see. We will see, Frank.
I'm back.
All right, Kev, welcome.
Thank you.
Grab yourself a glow stick and a
I've got
mixture
loads
at
of
the
them,
bar. We're all good again. I've
I
finished.
bought a sack load of them to make bracelets for one of the nieces or nephews' parties. We ended up with hundreds of them left over. Keep finding them down the back of the sofa.
And Alan, Kevin, yes, and Alan, well said. He said something there, which is what's echoing. We need to group together as a community. That's where you start.
Yeah.
Yeah. Indeed. Yeah, the plans are hidden in plain sight. That's another aggravating factor that you need to control when you see that. Starting with Monopoly, when was Sorry, but I'll go. When was Monopoly made? The year. All right, the man. Don't get into the Mandela shit that's come up with the monocle and all that, because that's interesting but not important. The Monopoly game. When was money changed and the removal of golden backing? Have a look at the years of the various acts and insolvencies and look at what fiat and fiscal moderations was made and adjustments within the banking and the financial constitutions, and then you come up with a scary little set of things when Monopoly has got a man in the middle who's like a central banker, and you've got paper money on a board, and the money's now got no backing, it's effectively paper, and they're telling you truth in plain sight. Along came a wizard, along came a lion, a cowardly lion, a tin man, and so forth, and then they give you the yellow brick road. It was entitled what? It was entitled The Wizard of Oz. OZ is what you weigh gold in grams. You weigh troy ounces. Troy, ploy of Troy. Don't get me on that. It's a big journey, but it's fun. The ploy of Troy and the gold ounces with the Wizard of Oz. Yeah, you weigh gold in Oz. What did it follow? Yellow Brick Road. Where did it go? To the Green Castle of Emeralds. And who was in there? A wizardy man. A man with power and great power, but it was shit power. He didn't have any power. He had tech and he had knowledge, and he was behind a curtain, a veil. The veil was lifted, and guess what? The story turned on its arse, didn't it, to be fair? So, it really is kudos to the Divine Comedy. But the Alphas and Omegas will not come and break bones and emulate what you've programmed us to do. We're going to go against everything we know, everything we've been programmed with, and take that faith and shove their creations up their orifices that they didn't know they had because they've been closely tight that long. They've almost sealed, and we're going to reopen them and send them away, and that will be sufficient. I yield. I'm on it tonight. I'm on it.
I noticed.
Over to you, Kev.
Oh, okay. Thanks. Leave me hanging. No, I'm leaving myself hanging. No, I'm just looking in the room, mate. Yeah, we don't want anything to do with them at all, not in the shape they're in. We'd all be better off running
1903.
local community areas and
Yeah, sorry, carry on.
bartering with people and swap this for that, and we do that, and then you come over here and do this, and that would be a much better system. You can have people growing just the one crop each, if you like. Then,
And gansing it up.
What a way.
Magnets,
Yeah,
copper,
do whatever you want,
No glyphosate.
energy.
No glyphosate needed.
Yeah, go back to it. It'd be lovely. As I say, and we don't need to, We all know what's right and wrong, and what to do with wrong uns, etc. So, it's easily sorted. Police ourselves. Or we pay for a proper service independently as a community. If you see what I'm saying.
Yeah, man, we do. I do.
These are the rules you work under, and if you're going to work under them and come and work for us, brilliant.
Trust.
That's
It's called trust, I believe. The trust
Yeah,
has been
that
broken.
might
That
be
be the word.
You might have it right there, mate. Don't come up that often in our area, though, does it?
It's gone with the doomsday clock and social distancing. We've now put, it's like the room 101 this tonight as well. It's got a lot of depth to it. We've put all three things in that and we've forgotten them. Gone. There is more.
We haven't put them in there. We're just realising they've been put in there. That's it. It's all in room 101, mate.
Yeah. I'm back to normal. I had to put a little bit of breakbeat on. See, the music just balances the flow, gets you in the show. Don't you know? Come on, Kev, let's go. Hyper, I'm the Pied Piper. Look into my eyes and I'll hypnotize ya. Such good lyrics. 1903, back on track to the beat. 1903. So I take that 1903 and thank you, Alan. I say, when did, here we go. Here's a little snippet for you that's hard to find, but I'll give to you because the time is 9. When did the Federal Reserve of the USA get created? What year, roughly, are you talking? When did deeds, titles, and so forth change the constitution of properties and rights? If you find out in your research, you'll find it was 1901, roughly, the constitutions of access. I'm talking like, here we go, mortgages, properties. Back in the day, our fam knew about estates, discharging, transfer, assets. Do you know what? They had like things like bonds, everyday bonds. It wasn't just the bishops and the cardinals and the deacons that had these secretly, and banks. Bonds were post office. There we go. Savings bonds. Here we go. Come on, these things. It was common, and slowly over time it was changed. And that pinnacle, like I said, Roswell, the alleged first alien encounter of the human race, was dealt with rather swiftly. To say it was the first encounter, there was no bumbling, there was no anything. It was covered up and it was printed in over 7 continents. The same lie, allegedly. If it, it looks like there's too many mistakes, like 9/11. To be, we're not idiots, so we know it's not quite. Somebody's remixed that shit and whatever. So Roswell being the first alleged, no, because obviously it was too clean. There was a global conspiracy. There was something already established. You see. And this establishment, from the Romans upwards, from Zoroaster if you want, but no, from Romans, Constantine-ish there, the pagan that was baptised on his deathbed, Catholic, I'm told, led to believe. This establishment has taken the putty of man and formed it any which way it wanted, and it is with great disgust that you find out through history, timelines, acts, money, finance, banking, churches, law, everything and more. You will find that there is an aspect of contrived human arrested development. I yield. Yes.
That was a polite way of putting it. Den of dirty, poisonous snakes.
Yes,
Like
brother.
the copies.
Yeah. Hit on with it. Yeah. Now's the time.
Dirty.
Pied Pipers.
Serpents, mate.
Yeah, look into my eyes and I'll hypnotise you. That's why I said hyper. They're the Pied Piper. Injected with a poison. We got the remedy. I hope we have. You look silly.
Injected with a poison.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, all right. I'll come and open the door for you. There's no need to make one.
I tagged you earlier in a tune, Kev, on Choob via Facebook about Paul. I found a tune, the track on Choob about Hello, Paul.
Oh,
Did you
smoke, Paul?
Yeah, man.
No, I don't. I don't smoke cigarettes. I don't smoke cigars. I don't smoke a pipe. I don't smoke the reefer.
That's such a classic all-time, almost like down on the streets, they call it murder vibe, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, great tune.
Thank you for the rekindling of that. You sparked something up there, you did, of a certain, I haven't thought of that and that type of vibration for many years. And much like Lado with Voodoo Ray, I was off and a total new resonance was formed instantly. So respect to you for that.
Just stepped outside, immediately started coughing.
Yeah, it's getting on. We'll aim to say shut down. Shall I take control here and say, yeah, we've had. I don't know if I'm scared of where we're going to end up. Even though it's a quiet crowd, small, quality's high, numbers are low, but we've had fun and we've gone all over the place. The replay crew, get sharing, get checking, stop, pause, make some notes if you need to, rewind, and the horror awaits you of your truth history.
Selector.
Yeah.
Be your own
Go on.
selector.
fundamentally, there are many thought leaders out there, there are many channels, and I don't know how man, alright, realistically, with all said and done, and just about to shut down and do the mini short long goodbye, this remix edit there for you. It was a long goodbye, but we've remixed it, it's now a mini short one, and you know, mans aren't going to get this information. And I'm not trying to be like a darker skinned rapper here when I say mans, but our womb mans of the land aren't going to get this 2 a.m. Drop of knowledge and gnosis and so forth. It's a shame, you know, how we care and have the power. Do you know, let me just put it like this. If you could know that you could stop something and you believed you had the power, like the ones in Palestine that say they've got no ID, so they're trapped in the shitty realm that is the war of doom and death over Israel, Palestine, they've got no ID. What? So God's made a part of the planet with family on it, and he's give them no ID and no rights. Hang on, this is the most holiest places of holies. When you're looking at a colander and you're thinking of holy things, this is holier than that. And I'm like, so these people there have got no right. God's people have got no ID and no rights, and their land's shrinking overnight, and subsequently whatever. You know, it's like watching, we watch that on the news as we eat our dinner, and we go, oh, poor little, you know, oh, they still haven't sorted it out. Well, this is our penance now, right? I'm sorry to say this. I believe that because we've sat back and watched Feed the World, give us your money. And you remember, you was all little at the telethon for that starving little African campaign of Feed the World. And everything that's gone by, how many years? Gaia, world, consciousness. I believe there is a creator, and I believe that, I say this delicately, but with gusto and courage. I believe the ones that are going to get some payback, not like Q payback, but universal quantum ethereal, not religion, faith payback, law of actions. We go hermeticism. We go for every alchemic concoction, there needs to be the law of equal. I'm going to leave it there. You can investigate it. I've said it enough. Yeah, there's laws, there's things, and they're inescapable. Much like that box set trilogy called Final Destination, where they escape deaths. Is that right? Yeah, we're in that. Well, that's true. Whoever made that, kudos. They went deep. You know, that was good to see that you know that systems are invisible but ever present, laws, factors. So with all that said, it's like we can see there's a great death coming and we can't stop it. But what do the faiths tell us? Those that listen, those that see, those will be ones that will be, you know, with me up on high, over in the sky. You know, I'm not trying to rap here, but that's what they say. So we hear, we see, we hope, we have faith, and the rest we've got to watch. You've got to prepare now, okay? And I'm not saying this, I'm interpreting this, and I'm feeling it, and it's written, so it shall be, but not by Constantine, thousands of years prior, and in many, many temples of which you probably haven't visited and don't know of. Angkor Wat is one of the badass ones that I never made it to on my bucket list, but a scribe did, called Eric, and he sent me pictures. Badman himself has gone there, and oh my days, you know, we've all got our luxuries there, so I'll yield with that and just say that you have to and that gives me the faith then to watch them fall by the wayside, because you know what, it was meant to be, and the universe has a way of clearing out. And the lad
culling wank.
the purge, the cosmic purge, you know, modern day twist on it. It's coming. And Claudio, the scribe called Silvalgi, yes, Claudio Silvalgi, that we had a chat with, and Sister Karen brought to us. He was the last bit I needed to cement most of this in, and his unique way of numbers and knowledge and encodings and times and calendars and planets and civilizations. I went, okay then, now we see. And so, you know, I can express to you my belief, but you shouldn't adopt my belief as your belief in all of this either. And if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong, because I'm just one simple man in the grand scheme of this cosmos. You know, the micro in the macro. I yield.
Micro, the macro.
Micro machines, you know, they were given to us again. We're not machines and we're not micro. I'm massive. You know, you can stand on our shoulders. Kev's bigger than me. I'm massive, so he's even massiver. That's right, massiver. And you can stand on our shoulders and you can help us do shit. And we'd like to, you know, that's what we're here for. 1:45, coughing our lungs up on a Sunday morning. Been a good show. Sorry, Kev.
That's all right, mate. No, you're fine. I'm just a bit short of breath at the moment.
Thank you for YouTube for letting it on. Ever since I said I'm leaving YouTube, I've noticed that I've had clarity, perfect videos. I got a post up saying, here's where I'm going, and we're not going there, by the way. That app I've recommended is absolutely just wrong. I'm sorry. It appears it's not such a singing, dancing app as it is. I won't mention it. It has the letter G and O in it. They're not the only letters, but if you don't have a chat app with G and O in, there's 4 letters. G and O are 2. It appeared somebody recommended it to me to try. Terrible in some ways, but great in others. It's got continental access for all. Let me just leave it there. I've uninstalled that one, I think. I put on message on about other chat apps and platforms and what we're looking at doing. Open broadcasting software. And when I said that to YouTube and I put the notice up on my community page there, half an hour later, I get an email saying you can now membership your channel and make more money, revenue, partnership with us and blah, blah, blah. I went, whoa, 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 YouTube, what's going on? It's 3:30 a.m. Man's been on it and I'm tired. I've just posted to the scribes I might be leaving and we're not happy with things and you're not playing fair. So they know and they're aware of what they're doing. And so we're going to migrate and give others our time, energy and resources. That's terrible for YouTube. So within half an hour of me saying that, suddenly my channel's got the ability magically, as if syncretism is just playing with YouTube and I. No. Syncretism doesn't come into dead entities, it only acts with life and essence itself and ones with a will. So corpses don't have this with us ever, all right? So that was them sending me a message going, okay, we'll try and kiss a bit of butt because you do take up bandwidth and do videos and you are a partner of ours with your monetization and we don't really, I don't know. Perhaps they have been told, or it's an algorithm. It's an algorithm, and it reads and it knows, and there you go. So too little, too late, and hilarious on the other front.
Funny how they suddenly buck up their ideas, isn't it?
Yeah, bro.
When you, it's like when you go for a new phone. Oh no, we can't do you that deal. Oh, okay, put me onto disconnections then, please. Yeah. Oh, all of a sudden we can do you that deal.
Retention, I know it well. Retentions, customer retention. Will speak to you. Yeah.
I've been with our lot for 17 years. That's what I say to them.
Loyal to
have a look through my record. Did you ever get a late payment? Did you ever get a missed payment? Ever?
Oh,
treat me like this. Yeah, the last phones we got were 3-year contract, and they took a third off the cost and knocked a third off the contract term as well. So we got to standard 2 years. They did do a good deal last time, I've got to be honest.
Mars, because you've been here all night, I'm listening, Kev. Because Mars, well, not all night, but they've stuck to it. Going to make you a blue man because that's how we roll. I feel we've got to know each other tonight. We've bonded, we've had a crack, we've gone deep. I've gone a bit serious and emotional.
Like the CIA, Dave.
Welcome to the fam. Welcome. We'll take anybody in if they're on the right vibe. We'll you know, I'm not here to. If you're ex anything and you've seen the light and want to help, remember. That uniform doesn't protect anything, and when they've done their duty with you, you're useless to them. They just throw you away. They're taking the pension off the police. They're really just stripping the assets of the NHS. Again, we've allowed them, like Jeremy Hunt, like Krishnan said to Jeremy. I'm like, Bosh, this is something you don't see every day. I'm going to tell everyone, and I told Kev straight away. The poor lad got like 10 minutes of the full hour of the Channel 4 news wrapped up in 10 minutes, and you can imagine. So he really is a legend for putting up with it all. But Bosh, yeah.
Got loads of love for you, mate.
I know, I'm getting better, and I've got lots of equal back, if not the same. Equal, that is the same. Sorry, I'm tired. Blue manned up.
It's been a busy week. Enjoyable.
I believe Mars Minkle is actually from that group on FB that's massive. We know him as another name. I'm just twigging here. Is that actually expose something to do with exposing the matrix of lies? Could it be? Am I clutching at straws and tired?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
I think that might be our brother.
I've got two or three aliases for him. That's not one of them.
No, I'm just clutching at straws then. I just thought then, is that actually...
Doesn't
Yeah.
mean it isn't. He's a member of... He'd be in bed this time of night. He's an early riser and an early, sort of early-ish go to bed, I think. Our friend over there.
Yeah.
I did some work with him recently, actually.
Yeah, go
with
on.
him. Yeah, just put some stuff down for him. He did the rest of it. I
Okay.
just put some stuff down in a text and that. And obviously all this has happened in the meantime. And he was waiting on going to court and all that. But obviously all that's put on hold at the moment. But yeah, I spurred him into doing some stuff and producing some stuff for him. So I give him some text off the top of my head and stuff. But he's done it all himself. So yeah, I've had a little bit of contact with our friend there. I like him. He's a joker as well. He likes taking the piss.
Yeah.
But, yeah, in a funny way. It's funny with
That's
that.
always good. It's almost essential.
Noah, you know Noah Kind? He's in the group.
Yeah.
American guy, lives out in the woods.
All right.
Animals and all, yeah. Really lovely guy.
I'm impressed with this archive. It's not too cheesy, it's not charty, it's just melodic. That's what I wanted, so I hope you've enjoyed the
Something
beats.
to chill along in the background, yeah.
It's not Caf Del Mar, but it's free and it's...
When we're getting much chilled stuff and I get on.
Yeah, well, anything, we are closing down. I'm gonna we could stay on
Yeah,
all
I've got to
night.
think about one. Yeah, I don't mind, I must admit. I'm feeling tired though.
Yeah, we've done enough now. We'll burn ourselves out, you see. This is the problem. Wi-Fi, technology, phones. I like to turn my Wi-Fi off when we sleep and call
I've
me
lost the
weird. But,
spontaneity. I've lost the conversation just coming forward. I have to think about it now because I'm feeling a bit worn out.
yeah, I am. I'm really tired. I know you are. So let's wrap it up and say thanks, fam. It's been fun.
It's been emotional.
It actually has been emotional on many counts, in a good way, in a very good way. It's a rarity, yeah. We're not here
Yeah.
to pretend.
Thanks, everybody.
I was going to say, we're not here with
Hope
this.
you enjoyed it. Sorry, Dave.
We just want to go, I know, let's close down. I was just saying, we're not
I'm
here.
not anywhere near the room, so I can't see any comments of anybody speaking to me. Sorry, I'm outside the property at the moment.
I will say, I've got the phone, I can scroll up, brother. I'm just going to say, we're not here with a stiff upper lip, to remain focused and calm and to lead you into a false sense of security, much like Disney did by giving us unrealistic life expectations as a junior child asset to grow up to find out it's nothing like that. And you must remain composed and learn how to make friends and alienate people, because that's how you get along in life in our world. No, you see, that's the alternative. So I'm glad that we are and you are the way you are. Bless us all. Finished.
Night all.
And we'll say,
Big love.
Dom, can only start 3 months notice when restriction. We'll look at these comments later as we're too tired, so that you can chat amongst yourselves. We've done our job. There are some unanswered bits in there. It's very rare we do this, so just let us go and flake out, fam, and we'll see you soon. Yeah.
Cool.
Much love.
Brilliant idea.
Yeah. See you later. We're going, Kev.
Cheers. Night all.